When my family told me, "You're the disappointment of this house. Just accept it," I felt that familiar sting, the same sharp reminder of every moment I had fallen short in their eyes. But instead of arguing, defending myself, or trying to win approval from people who had rarely offered support, I stayed silent. I let the words pass through me without allowing them to shape who I was or who I could still become. And in that stillness, an unexpected clarity formed, a resolve that their judgment would no longer steer the direction of my life. I had grown used to their criticism, the constant comparisons to my siblings, the condescending advice dressed as concern. And though being branded a failure hurt deeply, I decided long ago that proving them wrong wouldn't come from confrontation. It would come from action, from consistency, from quietly building a life rooted in my own values and aspirations rather than the ones they tried to force on me. So over the years, I threw myself into work, education, and self-improvement, often staying up late, using their doubt as fuel instead of allowing it to stop me. Slowly, quietly, I built foundations they never noticed. Achievements that weren't about applause, but about creating stability, independence, and confidence in my own abilities. I learned new skills, took chances that seemed foolish to them but necessary to me, and surrounded myself with friends, mentors, and colleagues who valued character over image. I carved out a world far from the cramped expectations of my family and realized that success doesn't require permission from those who refuse to acknowledge your worth. While they continued their critiques and comparisons, I kept progressing, collecting assets, rising in my career, and cultivating relationships grounded in mutual respect instead of conditional acceptance. And with every milestone, a promotion, a completed goal, a personal breakthrough, I felt a quiet surge of strength, a victory that no dismissive remark could undo. I learned patience, discipline, resilience. I recognized that their anger or disappointment reflected more about their own insecurities than about my efforts, and the energy I saved by staying silent became fuel for personal growth, creativity, and building a future I could truly be proud of. Eventually, the things I created in that silence, stability, recognition, financial security, respect from those who knew my work, began to speak louder than any insult they had thrown at me. And even if my family never acknowledges it, the fulfillment of knowing I built something on my own terms is far more meaningful than any praise they could ever give. Because it's real, it's earned, and it's completely mine. Looking back, I understand now that my silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. It was the deliberate choice to turn pain into progress, to transform negativity into drive, and to build a life that proved, without arguing, that failure is never defined by anyone else's opinions. Their harsh words became a backdrop to my story, a contrast that emphasized the determination, vision, and perseverance it took to create something meaningful despite the doubts surrounding me. And through that journey, I discovered an unshakable self-belief, the quiet triumph of growing in silence, turning criticism into momentum, and realizing that my success would always be defined not by their approval, but by my persistence, my resilience, and my ability to rise even in the face of constant dismissal.